Greetings, everyone out there in internet land. My name is Troy Bernier, and this is the Miami International Science Fiction Film Festival. And today we have a super dimensional special treat for you. We have with us Mr. Desmond Denton. Desmond Denton comes to us all the way from Cape Town, South Africa. That's quite a ways from the continent of North America. In fact, you probably can't even get a direct flight. In fact, the water goes the opposite way down the toilet bowl, down the sink. In fact, the stars in the night sky are totally different from the stars in our sky. They're pretty different, man. But what's so different about them is that they make really good films too. And that's great. And that's what makes MiSciFi so special, because we're full of good films. And this one is a gem that you better go and watch. Take that Roku, take that Fire Stick, take that Apple TV, go on Amazon Prime. That's right, Amazon Prime. You probably get a discount if you go to Amazon Prime and check out his film, Spelonk. It was a special treat here at MiSciFi, and we're going to bring him on and interrogate him thoroughly. Desmond, how are you?
Hey, that was a very good, very unique introduction. Thank you for that.
Indeed, because you're a unique guy.
Awesome.
And we
Yeah.
want to hear a whole lot about you today, and especially this film, Spelonk. Spelonk, it's a very special film. This is a dystopian Cape Town in the year of 2044, a world ravaged by climate collapse and social upheaval. That's the way half the films, it's so special.
Yeah.
So tell us, how did you come about making this film, and what's the story behind this, and tell us a little more about you too.
Yeah, so I come from, as you can hear, the accent is slightly different. It's a little bit of I've been now in the United States for 6 years, came just before COVID locked down the world. But I'm still operating between South Africa and America. Love making stories. I always say storytelling is in our blood in Africa. We live by it, we dance by it. Stories is part of our being. Yeah, and that's what brought me also to the US, is really to see how we can tell stories beyond our own borders. And it's
Yeah,
incredibly exciting with this film Spelonk, which is a very truly unique South African sci-fi film set in Cape Town, South Africa. Not too far from now, so we can get to see that time. It's not 1,000 years or 100 years.
sure,
But
sure.
because I come from a background of commercials and being
Okay,
involved with international films,
okay.
yeah, we really wanted to make our own independent film in this genre.
Sure. Well, that's pretty neat. We keep track of every single film that comes to our desk, whether it's selected or not. We keep track,
Mhm.
And one thing I can say is that whenever we get a film that comes from people who are in the ad world, the commercial space world, you can tell there's a difference.
Mhm.
And the difference usually lies in their ability to tell a story in a very condensed fashion.
Mhm.
Typically, when you're doing a commercial,
Yeah.
at a condensed amount of time,
Yeah.
you got to get a point across.
Yeah.
It has to come across visually, musically, and through voice sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So we can tell in this season, I'm not going to keep banging on these guys' chests, but the Escape Attempt, which is another gem, aggressive TV. Those guys are also from like an ad agency kind of
Yeah.
thing, and they basically told a story that could have been a feature, but it was
Mhm.
only a short. In
Yeah.
your case, you're telling them a
Yeah.
feature length, lots of characters, lots of story development, a lot of sets that you have,
Mhm.
different environments. The actors are quite good. Um,
Mhm.
that was one thing I was going to ask you. Not to really poke folks, but
Yeah.
you did leave out the credits here of all the people in the film. But
Yeah. Yeah.
um, tell us a bit how you came across casting the people in this in your feature.
So it was quite exciting when we started. There's two ways to do it. So in South Africa, it's a very different environment than the US. So
Mhm.
typically, you look at the type of stars that you use. Often, you have to look at the people who's most on TV. And in South Africa, it's often I don't want to say the days of our lives, but those type of actors that's a lot in the everyday TV programs. With
Sure.
this one, we really wanted to do something slightly different. So it made
Mhm.
it a little bit more risky, but it gave us the advantage that we could use actors that really fit the roles,
Mhm.
people that can do the stunts, that can do the fighting. And
Mhm.
we got lucky, I must say that, because I've been working in the industry for 23 years. I reached out to people that I know are really good when we did the castings. Got people like Greg Crick, who's a Emmy nominated. He's won a lot of awards, played in films like Tremors. We had Eric Ace, well-known ninjutsu specialist, played in a lot of like Lords of War. So
Mhm.
really great people.
Mhm.
Scott Cooper is here in
Mhm.
Atlanta, as well as Jenny Ambu, who's in Warrior, as well as in Wednesday. So when
Oh
we
wow.
started making this film, they were really like amazing South African cast, and they had some internationals, but I must say I think they've all skyrocketed. So it's got a little bit of that El Mariachi effect for me as a filmmaker, where myself and film friends and creatives who work together said, well, let's push and make our own South African film. It's that we're pushing everything from the casting to all the custom wardrobe to all the soundtracks being made by the incredible Ibrahim Malam. So everything on this film was pretty much, I want to call it handmade, to do this film.
Good, good, good. And the best part of that is you own it all.
Yeah.
You own it all.
Yeah.
And one of the issues that we faced when at the festival is when you're dealing with a lot of independent projects, they'll squeeze in a VFX or they'll squeeze in some music or a soundtrack of
Hmm.
something, some sort of audio track of something. But when we play the trailer that may contain some of these elements,
Hmm.
it gets flagged by copyright.
Yeah.
It
I
gets
mean, it's
flagged
a
by
lot more
copyright.
work. I think when you do everything yourself, it
Yes.
makes sense. It's a lot more work. But I think we are in this creative industry because we want to push the art. There is definitely a business side as well, and it's important to learn that. But primarily as an artist, I love pushing my skills in with every department, working with my musicians, working with my
Well,
actors.
here's the benefit of that. The benefit of that is when you're selling your content, it, you have to, the people who are buying, the distributors, okay,
Yeah.
they're going to stress, like for example, MiSciFi, now that
Hmm.
we have a spin-off Sci-Fi World, which is its own TV network
Yeah.
on Roku. Now and I'm the director of that, so I understand now why you have to have original content
Yeah.
and not content from someone else, because it just creates an additional layer of work
Hmm.
that takes away from the day to day of productivity. Uh,
Yeah.
so someone like yourself that comes with all of this original content, original work,
Hmm.
original content, it doesn't belong to anybody. It belongs to me.
Yeah.
I made it. My people made it.
Yeah.
I own all of this. That, in my opinion, adds it adds not just a layer of security to your content where you know you're not going to have any issues with it, but most importantly, you're not going to get any copyright strikes. You're not
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
get
yeah.
any hassles,
Definitely.
and you fully own your work. And that's,
Yeah.
when I made Planet X Part Two, The Frozen Moon. We
Hmm.
went through everything to own every bit of that film.
Yeah.
Had all our contracts in place, all the works of art, all of that stuff.
Hmm.
Every single detail was owned or licensed to us, where we had the rights to
Yeah.
everything via contract, and everything. So
Completely makes sense. Yeah.
it's anyone who's a filmmaker, you folks, you have to put in the extra effort and
Hmm.
get it right, especially the first time, because a festival, it's very easy to test someone's work. All you do
Hmm.
is just put the trailer on YouTube, and literally in 5 minutes, it's going to tell you whether or not you get a copyright strike.
Yeah, that's true. But it's also something exciting about putting yourself up to the challenge, is, for example, with this one, when we continue with it as a TV series or anything else, we've already created some of the main character music. The same
Yes,
if you watch something like such as Game of Thrones, it's great to have these themes, to have these songs
yes,
that really embodies your characters. So
yes, yes, yes. Very important. So can we play some
yeah,
of
let's
that
go
stuff
for it.
here? Let's see here if we can. We're going to play it outright, and then we're going to let it loop through a
Hmm.
window while we talk about it. Hold on a second. We're going to start off with the trailer here.
There was a time that water dripped from the heaven. It was abundant in rivers and you could drink it. But that was a long time ago, before Earth took its last breath.
We deserve water. It belongs to everyone.
Acting against the authorities is punishable.
The chaos began.
I see hope. You tell them a story before the gates sleeping. You talk of a green place with water. A place where people can be so much more than this. It's fighting.
The men you are looking for, I know where they are. They took my son, Aziz. I would do anything to save him, but I'm not a fighter. You are.
Way of telling you that we are now entering a phase where we start anticipating the very real possibility of a day zero scenario.
So you're the well, last I heard, most of your men are dead. What brings you here? Or did you hide away? Like a coward.
Promise me. If something happens to me, you'll give us my people. Promise me.
Hope is but a distant prayer. But not for long.
Oh my goodness, that's a that's a really long trailer, man.
Yeah, we have like a little 30-second teaser and then longer one, but yeah, we wanted to do the typical like 2 minute 30,
Right, right,
that direction.
right. Wow, that's really impressive. Well, listen, you got to tell me more though. What was it like working with some of your leads, some of your characters? What was some of the great parts and what were some of the challenging parts?
I think I always say filmmaking is the better problem solver you are, the better filmmaker you are, because everything from the moment you have a script till the point where you have a completed film is really a level of different problem solving. I've worked very long as a production manager, as an AD, while I studied making films, and yeah, I've learned a lot about problem solving. And
Right.
it's with a film like this, when you're in a country such as South Africa, which makes incredible films. You always have to look at it and say, well, how do you make a film like this? How do you fund a film like this? How do you bring all of these together? So, I mean, and what was exciting, it really just started with, we had a concept that we loved and wanted to develop, and got picked up by Silver Scatum, which is a well-known South African festival.
What was the name of it?
A Silver Scatum. So it's an Afrikaans festival. So we wrote it as a short originally, and then while we were there, we started developing it, and we're like, whoa, this is not a short. We should do something more with it. So we kept on developing it. I traveled to New York, Screenwriters Festival, and a few other places. So we just kept on developing it, and then myself and some of my commercial crew said, well, we need to start making this happen. And that's kind of like, it's been a journey. It's really taken us, like, we've had fashion shows with it where people dressed up like the characters to help with the funding. We had
Really?
like custom made knives. It's been, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Like on rooftops, we had big fashion shows with 300-400 people, things like that.
Oh my goodness. That's when you know you have something really, really special, when you're able to have this kind of reach. You
Yeah.
know, that's when you have really, really something special.
It's different when you bring, for example, a big, and I've been involved in the to cinema space, where we bring well-known American films to cinema, and you have the big marketing spend, so you can really just throw adverts everywhere. Most films that can't put in 10, 20, 30, 40 million in marketing, you have to find creative ways to talk to people and excite them about your story. So you really look at it completely differently.
That's right. By any chance, do you know Mr. Brendan Wasserman?
Wasserman, it sounds very well known. Let me just quickly double check, because the way you pronounce it, I might. Brendan, is he also from South Africa?
Absolutely. He's
I'll
from
check when I see
Joburg.
him now. Of course.
You know Brendan.
Yeah, I mean, you can't miss a face like that. There's a lot of interesting people. I mean, I've worked with people like Brandon Orrit, like I said to you before. Not all these people I know like close hand, but Brendan Orrit I know really well, who played in Chappies, Elysium. So there's a few incredible people and some of them now lives here in LA, in California. They travel back and forth. Sean Cameron, amazing South African actor. There's the one thing, the more you work in industry, the more you get to know some incredible people. And I've been an Oscars judge for African films going to the US for entries, and it's amazing just to see the level of talent all around the world. Yeah.
So how about, I'm going to drop a few more names on you here.
Go for it.
How about Daphne Jeffers?
No, I might know the face better than the name. Names I always have to. That's why I sometimes just quickly check and then.
She's behind the camera. She's a producer for District 9.
Yeah, it's very possible. Like when I see, I'll be like, oh yeah, we work together on a commercial here or there. But I'm better with faces than names predominantly.
How about you should know Kristen Roth. Kristen? Kristen Roth. R-A-A-T-H.
R-A-A-T, Roth. Christian Roth.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we pronounce, that's why even the names I have to check, like, because it depends what is his. South Africa's got 13 different languages. So I also, even in something like that, I have to see. Yeah, it was very funny when you do character names, the same with Spelonk. Like even the word Spelonk, people are like, what's that? So my distributor here in the US, they've got their own American term that they're looking to distribute it. But it's exciting. It's fun to hear people say difficult names like Getreida or something like that.
Right. Last name drop. Rogette Ellis.
Rogette Ellis. I know a few Ellises that's in the film industry, definitely.
He's an actor.
Let me see. So most of the people I know is really from the Rogette Ellis. Oh, so he's here at the New York Film
but his
Academy.
film, Brendan's film was called Weapon of Thought. Man, this thing was done.
Was good?
Yeah, it was very much to me, it just felt.
Oh yeah, no, Rogette, I've seen him, but I haven't worked with him. So like when I look at his face, I've definitely seen him around, but it's not. Like I said, it's a small country, but it's got little circles. So you get a circle that's, for example, your Afrikaans, where I've been a lot working in Afrikaans films for cinema and TV and commercials, and then you have a little circle that's like the faith market, similar to US. You get your little circles. You get your circle at just attends film festivals the whole time. So yeah, even the sci-fi festival is one big, very interesting family. So yeah, I definitely won't know all in South Africa.
Thank you. So what's next? What's next for you and the film? The film's available will be available on Prime.
Yeah, we're now doing what we call the red carpet tour. So we're kind of traveling country to country, kind of showing it off and kind of having a little bit of fun with it before we release it. The book is out on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, a few places. There's an audiobook coming out. We have written the following episodes really to push this into a TV series. But at the moment, I'm busy with 2 others while we're doing the red carpet tour. We have a 1969 earthquake story that we're working on next, set in South Africa, which is a crazy, crazy time set in apartheid South Africa, based on a real story that we did the research for, wrote the book, got the book out. So I love bringing visuals to life. Not just with VFX, so literally working with trailers and things where we can shake rooms about and do some fun stuff. So that's my next production. But yeah, we're excited that we got Spelonk so far and can kind of show it to people now.
That's good. So do you have a timeline when you think it'll be on Amazon Prime?
Realistically, we're looking at December. We want to give ourselves a few months just to really travel. Because the moment it's on TV, it kind of, that door is closed. You can't really take it. Yeah, so early March, we're in South Africa with the South African premiere at the Russian South African Film Festival. So there's a few exciting ones coming up.
Well, definitely, please give us a heads up when it's going to Amazon Prime so we can promote the film for you.
Yeah, we'll definitely do. Thank you so much. It's always exciting to connect to a creative such as yourself.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Desmond. We really, really appreciate you coming on board. And just stand by. Don't go anywhere, okay? Stand by.
Got it.
We're done. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Another great episode here. Desmond Denton was amazing. And be on the lookout. Join our mailing list so that we could keep you informed when that film hits the streaming channels. Thank you so much. See you all again. Ta-ta!